morning, chumps. Slept pretty well last night. Didn't eat a whole lot yesterday, mainly just, heart of palm and figs. So, yeah, not nearly as good as wallaby. But, yeah, always really thankful for food. So, what is the plan for today, Mitchell? It is the same plan that we have every day, chumps. It is try to survive. So, I'll be checking traps and keeping cool, and might actually go on a long walk for yams. I haven't really done that here yet, but now that the hunting's slowed down, it's probably a good idea. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a hot one today, so keeping cool is going to be a big one as well. So, yeah, off we go. Righto, danger of the day. This is a pretty big one, even though the tree can be pretty small. These are stinging trees, or gimpies. Now, the worst of them are called gimpy, and they're pretty nondescript little bush. They got big round leaves with serrated margins, and they're covered with thousands and thousands of tiny silica hairs that fall off really easily. So you have to be careful even, in the wind. Now, those silica hairs are actually filled with a potent neurotoxin, which it acts a bit like a hypodermic needle. So as soon as you brush up against it or break the little silica needle, it'll inject its poison, and it hurts. It hurts real bad. Not sure if it's true or not, but up Atherton Tablelands way, north of me, quite a bit north of me, there's a story about a commander who led a group of troops into the forest for an excursion or a field test or something. And one morning the commander went through the bush to relieve himself. And a few moments later his men heard a really loud bang. And so they went to investigate, and in a bit they found their commander with his pistol in his hand, and one of these leaves halfway up his clacker, and a massive hole in his head. So they are really no joke. They have taken lives just because they're so painful. There's not enough neurotoxin in the leaves to actually kill you directly anyway, but the stress of so much pain or the threat of the pain continuing is enough for people to try and off themselves. I've had a little bit on my ankle before, and that lasted for about 2 weeks of pretty solid pain. And it's known to last for years. So really something to look out for. They do spread little pink berries in their fruiting season, but they're also covered in the silica hairs. So yeah, really not worth trying to harvest them. And definitely something to keep an eye out for when you're hiking through the North Queensland bush. What I could really go for right now is some taters. Po-Tay-Toes. Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. Where are they? Haven't found any vines yet. Should be everywhere. Righto, found something particularly good. This is the greater yam. So Dioscorea Atlanta, something like that. Anyway, or the winged yam. You can really distinguish this one from the cheeky yam, or Dioscorea bulbifera, I think. Anyway, by these wings on the stem. So there's 4 sort of fleshy ridges that go up its stem, leading onto a heart-like leaf. So I'll find the stem of this one, have a dig, and see if we can find a big yam. So this is what their roots look like, or at least the stems leading into the ground. I'll get to digging. There is a bit of a natural dip in here. Well, not so natural, but yeah, I think an animal might have come through here and dig up a past tuber. So I'll keep on digging, and hopefully the tuber's regrown and I'll get some solid food. Let's do it. So looking like this is gonna take a bit longer than I thought to dig out. Still don't know if there's any yams beneath it, but it seems like a pretty good chance. I did come across a small shooting tuber which it put out, which is just this guy. So pretty small gain for all the work so far, but hopefully it's a good sign, and yeah, hopefully good things to come. We got food. Hell yes, guys. Let's get it. Yee, back to camp with my bounty of taters. We've got mad yams. I reckon there's, you know, upwards of 10 kilos of yams here. So well and truly enough to keep me going for the rest of the trip. Vegetable wise anyway. Yeah, and I'll just explain to you why these plants actually use tubers. So much like the balls, water is stored in them. So in the wet season, the plant will take up a whole lot of water and store them. These are only young tubers. Store them in the tuber and they'll expand. And yeah, during the drier months when the plant needs more water, it'll yeah, take up the water that's in the tuber and it'll turn into something like this. So this would have been a massive tuber that would have been complete at the end of last season's wet season, and then last dry season all the water's been taken back up and used by the plant, and this tube is now pretty inedible. It's pretty woody, pretty fibrous, there's not a whole lot of moisture in there, and yeah, they taste like trash. So those ones are not good. So while I'm washing these yams, I'll cut off the dry parts, the last season's tubers, and yeah, store the good parts. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, so decided against washing them. Getting the yams moist will probably make them rot a whole lot faster. So I sorted them here, brushed them off a bit. There's all the dead stuff. I reckon about half of it by weight was dead crap, which isn't great, but it is what it is. I'll store these up high. I might make like a basket or something, and I'll store them up high so they're dry, and yeah, hopefully they don't go to rot. And I'll just show you a few things. First of all, this is what they are, sort of out of the ground and a bit cleaned up. And when I'm about to eat them, I'll chop off this top section, and that will actually regrow from those roots and stem. So I'll place them around and replant it, and hopefully in a few seasons there'll be a nice big yam or crop of yams around for anyone who needs it / me if I come back. And the other thing is, if you still weren't sure about the ID of a yam, whether it was cheeky or not, one thing you can do is if you crack them open, a bit difficult with one hand, yeah, crack them open, and it's nice and white on the inside. A cheeky yam will generally be very yellow, or sometimes even orange on the inside. So yeah, it's a good indication, and I'll just try a little bit of it, just raw. Shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, just tastes like raw potato. So there's no stinging or weird feeling going on in my mouth. So yeah, probably good to eat. It's definitely going to be a lot better when I boil it up or roast it up or whatever. But yeah, there we go.